Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J., starring Kaliko Yas.
Out and about doing the daddy things that daddies do, providing food for the family. How are y'all doing today?
You can't say that you're not a global man. You've done the show from a Target, now a pizzeria.
I mean, at least they gave me a beer named after Rick and Morty called Riggedy Wrecked Rick, so I'll take it.
Oh, cool. Also starring Mitch Mayhem and Scooter Dust, who are not with us at this moment. Hopefully they could both join us a little later. And it's a great day for wrestling, but we are going to start before we go to our news, which is pretty newsworthy. We're
Yep.
going to start with review, and we are wrestling with New Japan Cup Night 3 and 4. They also did Night 5, but we are going to wait to review that when the right side of the bracket is completely full, is completely done, so we can speculate a little bit more.
Yep. Yeah, they went weird. They went like bullet bullet fat style with the first couple, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll stop with one half of the bracket and hold off." So, I mean, it feels only right to speculate the matchups once the whole bracket's complete.
Right, it's fair enough. But yeah, they did it oddly this time around. But I mean, it was good to see Kurgan Hall back on New Japan's radar.
Oh yeah, and if you know anything about New Japan Wrestling, you know Corrigan Hall is a sacred hallmark. I mean, between that and the Tokyo Dome, those are pretty much like New Japan's wrestling,
It's like the Madison
mecca.
Square Garden.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like those two are like the MSGs of New Japan wrestling. So
Yeah,
it would only be fitting to do a New Japan Cup qualifying round matches in Corrigan Hall.
and we'll start with night 3. The first match of the tournament on the right side of the bracket. Ryusuke Taguchi lost to Sonata in 15 minutes and 47 seconds to a Okano bridge. It took Sonata way too long to win this match, right?
You know what? The way that he came in, because usually he didn't wear his pirate gear, so it shows like he kind of didn't take him seriously in a sense. Like the gear that you wear shows whether you take it seriously or not, right? Like we see Naito do some matches in his shirt the whole match, which lets me know he's not taking the match seriously. And
Right.
if it's a serious match, he's out there in like this Gucci suit. So to me, it showed like he kind of had the Okada approach, like I should steamroll this guy, and it played into the match of him keeping his eye off the balls a bit, but still getting the job done nonetheless.
I mean, yes, Taguchi is, a comedic wrestler. But when he needs to turn it on, he comes to play when he turns it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they had him last year. They had him in the second round last year, and even then he was a tough out. So it's not like he's like a punk bitch or anything. So
Right.
I mean, they know when to get him going. It's just that they set this up as Sonata being, and for all intents purposes, he's practically a favorite because when you think about how far he made it last year, you would think he would be a favorite this year.
Oh
So
yeah.
they played the favorite kind of taking his opponent underestimating his opponent in the first round
And I think
approach, which was good for Taguchi, which made him look more formidable. And I mean you could tell because Sonata was like being lackadaisy in the way he approached Taguchi in the whole match. I mean,
what do you think about Sonata giving Taguchi his shirt after the match?
I mean, it it's something outside of Sonata because Sonata is usually like the quiet guy. So I don't know if it's a sign of respect of like, yo, I took you for granted, and you know you came with it, or like I beat you on my worst day type approach. So you never know with Sonata because he doesn't really talk a lot.
Right.
So so I'm gonna err on the side of you were a formidable opponent, and but yet I beat that ass. There you go.
Alright, and that brings us to upset number one. Sho defeated Shingo Takagi in 17 minutes and 6 seconds with a shock arrow. Who thought saw this coming?
I mean, this match was actually not bad to me.
Oh no,
I,
it was
I
a
would say
great match, but I
it
didn't
was a
see it
good.
coming.
I, I mean, true, but like I said, I guess Show proved me wrong because I thought he was gonna get his ass blasted.
Like the last
and,
two
and
weeks
it
you've
just,
been saying, the weak links of this group is Sho and Taguchi. And they probably had the best two performances in the tournament.
you know what I mean? And it's just like it's weird how they do them, and it's funny because they're light heavyweights. So I mean, I guess it's gonna set up a never open weight match. I think I don't know. It's just, you don't know where they're gonna go with it.
Right, I see Sho and Takagi at Dominion for the Neville Championship,
For
so
the
that could
never
be one of the
championship.
matches.
I mean, either way, Takage is gonna be doing double duty. So,
What do you mean,
uh,
double duty?
oh no, the wrong one, wrong guy. See, that's what
Okay.
I'm talking about. But anywho, but but yeah, I mean, to me, mostly eating my words because I thought Show was just gonna get his ass ramrodded, and he didn't. So he goes on to the second round. So hey, he proved me wrong right there.
Some fantasy booking here. This was supposed to be Osprey versus Takagi. Do you see that maybe this was Osprey's opening to beat Shingo? Or do you think this was Shingo's opportunity to finally get a win on Osprey?
Um, well, I don't know because wasn't Osprey dealing with an injury earlier this year?
No, Osprey is just not there right now.
Ah, okay. So,
I don't think he could get the
but
flight to Japan.
to Japan.
Yeah, from India.
Um, so I mean, we'll see where that road takes it. To me, Osprey, the way that they have him, he's like the Swiss Army knife because they literally have him compete as junior heavyweight, heavyweight, never open weight. They pretty much just click and plot him, which is good for him as far as exposure and the way that his style matches up with different people. But it to me, it doesn't define where he is or what's his staple. You know what I mean? As far as like, is he a legit? Is he just gonna stick with junior heavyweight? Is he gonna go to heavyweight? You know, those type of
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So that's the only backdraw I would have with this. is that they've been floating him around forever, and maybe he likes it. I mean, maybe he likes being the guy that's like, you know what, I can make a good match with anybody, and that's good. I mean, that's good. But as far as like if he's trying to get a chip, it doesn't define him in rankings. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where to me the hangup would be.
And we are being joined by Scooter Dust.
Hello.
Players. What's up, man?
Yo, that's really funny. I was just thinking about Uncle Ruckus.
We are talking about the New Japan Cup. Me and Kaliko's been covering the whole tournament for the last 2 weeks. But I didn't really get a chance to talk to you about it. What are your thoughts on, New Japan coming back and having this empty arena matches that will lead up to a actual live person arena match?
Well, first of all, if they're gonna do the New Japan Cup, they better make sure that nobody shares it with anybody, because that's how COVID spreads. Is people drinking from the same cups.
I mean,
Uh,
that's what happened to WWE.
with that, yeah, oh god. Uh, yeah, at that point, I think Vince would rather them have the plague. Um, but the Japanese, they kind of value silence. They like, put it this way: when you would watch a New Japan show, you would hear every chop, every shot that would go on in the ring, and all the grunting and the groaning, and you know, and to have that in the empty arena in Japan, where the 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 best thing from a production standpoint about Japanese wrestling is always the acoustics.
Right.
Um, and I mean, that being said, would would I don't even know if anybody can actually say for sure if they will attempt a live show.
They're doing a
At
live show on the 11th and 12th.
I mean, as of now,
Yeah, as of
and,
now.
and if anything we've learned is that everything can change at the drop of a hat.
This is true.
Um,
That is true.
but the thing is that there, with everything going on in pro wrestling, Japanese wrestling, New Japan, they're gonna suffer by association.
Right.
Everything, every promotion is gonna suffer by association, because, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because with all the stories we've heard, there are stories from the New Japan locker room, maybe even some that are worse.
Ooh. Alright.
I mean, we can pray as wrestling fans that you know our favorite New Japan stars actually are honorable human beings, and that may be, but that's not the way the world is now.
Oh, absolutely
True.
not.
The world is everybody's an asshole. Everybody's done something wrong, and anything you attempt that's an act of goodness or kindness of your heart will be judged accordingly, and your praise will be rationed out according to what you do.
Absolutely. The world we live in, 2020. Um,
Well, yeah, it's getting that way already. Like
back to,
it's
and we'll definitely, I have a lot of notes, for the news portion of this show, but, to continue with the, pre-review of the New Japan Cup, Kota Ibushi defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in 15
I'll go
minutes and
for it.
15 seconds with a Kamagoye. Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan Cup winner 2 years ago, out in the first round.
I
Kaliko.
mean, the former winners usually don't do too good the following years after because the way that New Japan usually works it is that like the person who is going to be in the running gets the rub from that. But to me, it doesn't hurt Zack Sabre Jr. because I mean he was a winner 2 years ago, so it's not gonna kill him. Like, oh my god, you lost in the first round.
I mean, that is,
Every year is different, and then when you look at who he went against, which is the current G1 champion, you can't really like degrade. You can't really degrade Zack Sabre Jr. that much.
and he'll get his win back. He always does, unfortunately.
Eventually, but at this point, we all know that it's the way that they're doing it is based on the matchups. They're trying to get certain matchups,
Right.
and some matchups we've seen, some we haven't seen, just to give it a mix. And maybe it's with people, and maybe people are just trying to figure out who they're comfortable wrestling with. I mean, we are in a new COVID world type deal. So.
Well, we are getting the next, a new matchup in the second round because Hiroshi Tanahashi lost to Taichi in 21 minutes and 51 seconds with a Black Mephisto. Upset of the decade?
I mean, that's the second biggest upset of the tournament. I mean,
Dorg.
we we
Dorg.
we wrote Tai Chi off like a bad check, and we didn't even think about Tai Chi winning. And lo and behold, motherfucker wins the match.
That
Son
was
of a
definitely
bitch.
a bracket buster.
Proves me wrong. Kaliko.
There's always there's always bracket busters in
Kaliko.
New Japan, isn't
I
there?
just gotta close my phone. So. Yeah, I have a beer time now. See, daddy doing daddy stuff. But Tai Chi, like I said, but it's gonna be interesting because they're trying to do the good guy, bad guy type deal. So I get what they're going with. I'll get the riggedy wreck. It's fucking dope. He calls me out.
And it seems in the 110 days that
Yeah.
New Japan went on hiatus, Tai
Yeah.
Chi's short tights got smaller.
It's all good.
Scooter,
Uh,
Appreciate
well,
it.
Scooter, you're a wrestler. How small should Trunks be?
There we go.
well, uh, considering that I had a, I had, I have a, a friend who I still uh, speak to today who designed trunks for almost everybody in the locker room, including the stuff that Dark Order members Alex Reynolds and John Silver wear on AEW Dynamite.
And we know they're winning in life.
And God, you don't want, you certainly don't want the ass cheeks hanging out. I mean, unless that's your gimmick. But
Some people prefer it.
then again, if you're on the indies and you're working, you're working a friggin' sumo wrestling gimmick, or even just an eccentric man who likes to wear thongs gimmick, you're gonna catch something in those 100 people crowds. But Trunks should fit the character, not the character should fit into the Trunks. As much as bad as that sounds.
Well said. Well said. That takes us to night 4 of the New Japan Cup on the right side of the block. Yo lost to Bushi in 15 minutes and 42 seconds with an MX. Bushi.
Does anybody have a last name anymore?
Bushi finally getting a win, right? Oh. And we have lost Calico.
Do Japanese wrestlers have last names anymore? And I have a huge conspiracy theory. I believe that somehow that Tomohiro Ishii and Taiji Ishimori are the same person.
Wow, that's a Mr. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scenario.
Because I'm pretty sure their names are anagrams if you add a J. Okay. I don't know. I'm making shit up here.
Are you joining the next season of Conspiracy Theories with Jesse Ventura?
Is that the season? Is it going to be filmed in his basement where it's like, blah, 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 Republicans, blah, 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 COVID, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. The world has become such a pathetic caricature of itself that can't even make the funny jokes that without there being some semblance of reality based in it.
And speaking of reality-based jokes, Yoshihashi defeated Hiroshi Tenzan in 17 minutes and 35 seconds with a butterfly lock. I'm just glad he got to the ring safely. And then we have Hiroki Goto defeating Yujiro Takahashi in 16 minutes and 40 seconds with a GTR. And our last match, Satoshi Kojima lost to Evil in 20 minutes and 8 seconds with Everything is Evil.
That is probably the biggest surprise.
Oh,
considering
Evil?
No, considering Satoshi Kojima. And at one time Satoshi Kojima was the face. He was the one. He was the Japanese superstar everybody talked about in the U.S. He was the guy that went to lunch with Triple H.
Really? When was that?
When Kojima was working for Ring of Honor.
Huh. So, in the last decade.
Yeah.
Last 2 decades.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure how much Kojima has actually even wrestled before this. I
Not a
thought,
lot.
yeah, I thought he had actually retired.
Not yet. He after the match, he actually put some comments where he said, I'm not getting these opportunities as much as I used to."
Used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, if I want to stay relevant and have the people still think about me, I need to start winning matches again.
True, but I feel like that there's always going to be a spot for him in the G1 because it seems like between him and Nagata, they always put one of them motherfuckers in there.
And he's gotta live up to the family name because his brother Hideo is putting out all those great games.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Strong.
They're not related. Oh, okay. Never mind.
What I'd like to know is, you got 5 members of LIJ in this tournament. Every single one of them won a match. Even Bushi, who has been the known jobber of the group, and Shingo Takagi is your odd man out. So
Yes.
what does that really say for Takagi, that he was the only member of LIJ not to advance in the tournament?
It's saying that let's give the guys who don't normally win wins, so because there are no fans here, and they won't scream out with disappointment when they win.
I look at it differently because I don't read into too much of factions, whether they advance or not. Because if you look at what happened, they always usually take like a semifinal winner and the next year they win it. So Sonata was destined, is pretty much a favorite, right? Evil, he's always been a staple. It seems like the OGs won. And not to take away from Shingo, but he's probably going to be busy. Out of all of them, I only see Sonata really like going the furthest, just because the way that they promoted him last year and the way he looked against Okada in a losing effort in the New Japan Cup. So I don't dig too much into it because, correct me if I'm wrong, if you look at Suzuki Gun, the only person that fucking won is Taichi.
Oh
So,
no,
so
Kanemaru won.
Okay, so there we go. So two out of what? Maybe the same amount that were in there. So I don't really read too much into factions when they do the New Japan Cup because they don't really. I feel like the New Japan Cup, they don't really factor that in. I feel like the G1 factors factions in when it's points involved and who moves up and who moves down and who's laying down for who and so on and so forth. But when it's single elimination, to me, the factions kind of take out of it. Or, I mean, you could look at it from a way that the last magazine that I saw of Japanese wrestling, they had literally everybody in LIJ on the cover. So it's I mean, it's hit and miss. So meaning to tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And that will conclude our coverage of the New Japan Cup for this week. Next week we will cover the second round of both A block, not A block, but the left and right side of the field.
Hey, block.
Yeah, I'm in G1 mode.
Yeah, we in G1 mode.
Yeah.
Been so fucking long. We mistaken the Japan Cup for G1.
Scooter, do you have a favorite to win this tournament so far?
Nope.
Alright. Once again, that concludes our coverage.